So, religion and politics is not going to help solve a lot of your problems because what religion and politics does, which is really just government, right? Like, government will determine your fate at the end of the day. Like, when you pass everything that you've created or that you've made possible through your birth alone that help the economy is going to go straight back to the government, unless you put certain measures so that you can pass things down to your children. But then when it comes to religion, like, religion can definitely help people. It can definitely help people really grasp a moral bearing, but it was put in place to enslave people, and that's why the people that run the world are not religious, and they may pretend like they, you know, go for a certain religion or they go to a certain church, but they in all believe, like the elite, believe that they were put on this planet to specifically harness and harvest our energy, mostly for themselves, right? That's why they're super wealthy. Yes, there is some kind of like economical downfall right now. I'm not sure if there's going to be a crash, but people are really feeling the pinch. And wealthy people don't feel that pinch. Wealthy people like trust fund babies, like the ones that own like the biggest corporations, the politicians that get paid the most, like all of these people in power are in power because they've been passed, it's been passed down to them through their family, through their lineage. And they've also been, of course, they have a little religion or whatever, but if they are religious, which, most elite are really not, if they are religious, their religion tells them that they were made to live a better life than us. They were made to enslave and use our energy because we are not the lineage, we are not, from their bloodline. And so the fact is, politicians are not ever really going to tell you the truth, and they're not going to put a politician in place that is not from a bloodline, That's why they talk about there was this girl who was like 13 who did a report, and she was like showing how all the presidents were related to each other, right? So like these are not conspiracies anymore. If you once thought that, like that's normal because, everyone thought that everything was a conspiracy, but we are at the point where like now people know that like these things are not. I mean, I think the files are confirming to people that something mischievous was really going on in government. And it's just sad to see the people like not like to have so much trust in the government and to not believe it right away that there is like a plot against them. So like if you do have a lot of problems right now, just remember that you need to take responsibility for everything that you do, everything that you say, all of your actions, your choices. There is a spiritual, reality here that dominates the physical. So if you put in your work, if you are about prayer and meditation or I don't want to say self love because that can be selfish, but more like honoring yourself, giving back to yourself, knowing yourself, really like just not putting yourself first, but making sure that you have control of your energy before you try to control someone else's energy, right? Energy dynamics. But all in all, the best thing you can do is really heal yourself from within. And when I say religion also isn't going to help you, it's because like it does help certain people. Like it does help people maybe who are coming out of prison who really need something, because I've seen that happen. I've seen people really get better because of religion or really have a moral bearing because of it. But it is put in place for you to, have a king over you, to have a lord over you, and they are going to determine whether or not you deserve this or that. And the truth is, no, we all need to be self aware and understand why we have the things that we have, why certain energies come back to us, because it's a reciprocation. It's a spiritual reciprocation that's happening here that people don't see. So that's why prayer and meditation, honoring yourself, honoring others, being of integrity is really important because that stuff does pay back. Like that stuff will bring you fortune. Just being more intelligent and wanting more wisdom, whether that be educationally or spiritually, whatever type of wisdom. That's why like I really love that word, and I really, respect and honor that energy. wisdom is going to always get you further in life. It's always going to help solve your problems. And so like how do I just get wisdom? Wisdom comes from within. I mean, it comes sometimes in external lessons when we go through situations with people and everything like that, but it's all about self-reflection. It's all about knowing yourself and knowing why you do the things you do. And I always talk about knowing your triggers. Um, just knowing, certain things because, like I said, it's a reciprocation process. There isn't so much a Lord that you're constantly praying and worshiping that one day is going to give you eternal heaven. Like, okay, eternal heaven isn't a fantasy. I do truly believe, you know, that word in a sense because like it means certain things, but it does, paint a picture that heaven is possible, right? You can live heaven here on earth. This is life, this is, we're living and we're here. Like if you are worried about the afterlife, that means that you need to worry about the now and how you act and how you respond and not putting yourself over others, right? Like wanting people to worship you either because or just walking into a room and just thinking that you are the smartest person or the best looking person, like that is very ignorant. No matter how much we take care of ourselves, no matter how much we learn, we should never assume that we are the apex predator in a room full of people that we don't know because you're making judgments and you're assuming things. And so that's why religion can teach you good things like, not to judge, even though certain religions are really harsh on that and they're known for being very judgmental. But it's just like knowing that not so much idolizing yourself and putting yourself as the god, but there is a more intelligent energy here that when you do connect to it and when you become more aware and honor it, it does bring forth more truth and more discoveries and more self-awareness and more balance, more harmony. Like these are the energies that you get out of not just self-perfecting yourself, but understanding why it's important. And yes, you can do that a little bit with religion, but like I said, when you put a Lord, when you put somebody above you, you're not really taking responsibility for yourself anymore. You're acting more of like a child, right? That's why they call it the Father, because you are, in fact, in a childlike mentality, thinking that some one man that used to actually, well, some people believe the God, and then when people like think about some of these idols like Jesus and the Virgin Mary, like just remember they were human too, right? And it makes you put these other humans that were here on earth on a pedestal, and then you believe that you don't have the same capacity or the same, you know, uh, magic that could come. Like, I'm not saying that we're going to give birth to people without having that. Those are stories, those are symbols. I forgot what the other word, like parables. So that's not exactly what I mean, but I'm just telling you that like when you put someone above you, you no longer are in control of your own mind. Let's just put it like that. You are easily mind controlled if you are putting something else above you because you're you're allowing something to control your mind by just like giving an ode to that, giving an oath to yourself, right? Um, or not to yourself, giving an oath to whatever God that you have, you're basically allowing those energies, whether you know where they're coming from or not, be able to control your mind and your thoughts and your behaviors. You're not really in control of yourself when you do that. So when you become like sovereign, when you become more self-aware, self-sufficient, self-mastered, you start realizing these things and then the universe speaks in a whole different language that a lot of other people just can't understand or see or perceive, but it is like really there because you can see it with other people. Like if you don't already see it in me, you can listen to other YouTubers and be like, "Oh my gosh, like where are they getting all this wisdom from? Where are they getting all of this like stuff? It feels so true. It feels so right." Well, that's because they're connected to the spiritual realm, the higher realms, the realms where you're not, in judgment. You're not angry. You're not bitter. You're not jealous. You're not afraid. You're not trying to survive, right? Because, you're already alive. So you need to honor that and honor your body. And so that's another thing, too, is like religion doesn't show you how to honor your body. How are you not going to honor the temple that got you here, that is sustaining you? Right? Like, why are we not addressing this in religion? And my teacher has always said that, like, why are we not addressing the body in religion? And some spiritual religions kind of do, right? Like the Buddhists, or like they have certain diets, right? But they're not really keen on, you need to get the nutrients from the food that is grown here, because there are certain other factors that will affect your mind and your behavior and the way that you are, because the chemicals that are in those things, or even just the biology of, like, did you know Jews don't eat pork? Because it has parasites, and it causes parasites in the body when you consume pork. And so they don't touch it, right? They talk about what's that word, when, oh, I forgot it right now, but people have already been posting it too, so it's becoming more known that they have their own labels on the food in the supermarket, because it's not just, it's this starts with a P. But it's not just that, it's not just like has no pork in it. It's also like just cleaner. It doesn't have like the white sugars, cane sugars, artificial sugars, because you may say, "Oh, I take artificial sweeteners, so I don't consume sugar." But artificial sweeteners, like if it's not a plant-based, like truly plant-based, then it is also a chemical-based product that, just like white sugar, is processed. And it is not just, it's probably helping your diabetes right now, but it's not helping your brain. It's really not. Like, it later on, it could show. I do believe that it causes dementia and Alzheimer's and things like that. I like, a lot of people are really aware of aspartame and the effects of it. I'm pretty sure they've suppressed it by now, because I knew about this back in 2016. So, after 2020, there are certain things even ChatGPT will not talk about, because they're suppressing the information, because everything can just go viral at this point. And so, yeah. But if you guys have any questions, go ahead and tune in. I know I have some people on Instagram. I'm also live on YouTube. But just knowing that religion can put you back in a state of slavery, and so does the government. Like, obviously, there are certain rights that you think you have, but you really don't, because you're a citizen and you're using your legal name, and just using the legal name puts you at risk of being enslaved at any point in any time. There are videos too of, like, I don't want to say marine chiefs. There's like another word for like these higher up people in the military that are going off during these certain like meetings. I don't know if they're very kind of like political, where they talk about policy and things like that. I don't know exactly where they are, but they're objecting to whatever the policies or new laws or things are going to go down. And then you see these higher up marines or officials, military people, who are objecting to whatever, has to go down in society. Then they get not just trampled on, but they get like totally abused and removed from the room before they even start like an uprise. And so that shows you that. And then there was this girl who was videotaping one of them, because I've seen at least two, where they're like, "Why are we going to war?" Excuse me. There was at least two where they're like, the military people are just oh, I'm sorry, I'm paused right now on Instagram because of my connection. But there is, oh my god, I just got a phone call and it threw me off. So these two different videos I've seen, where like these government officials, the higher up military, are objecting to like the war that's happening right now. And they're literally telling our government, you guys are the ones who are funding this, like, what's going on? And you see them just get removed, like, not even just get removed, but like they get tackled, and they get like, just like, oh my god, they, like, some guy I think broke his arm in one of them. So this is the video I'm talking about, where the girl at the end says, "I can't believe you guys are doing this. You guys are just like robots. How could you do that to him? He's been in service for all these years. What am I actually seeing?" And she couldn't believe it. And it's because you don't have real rights in America when you use your legal name, especially if you are tied to any oaths like military and stuff like that. You definitely can't be no Edward Snowden, right? So, like, let's think back to those people. Like, reality wins. That girl, that's a real name of a girl who tried to do like an Edward Snowden, allegedly. We don't know if these stories are really, really real, but we know that the Edward Snowden thing happened in 2016-ish, right? Also around that time, where he was like in the NSA, National Security Agency, of like the government. And he was exposing how they were like spying on us. So through every camera that you have in your house, they can tap into it. They can, and that's what they are doing actively. to be able to see like a holographic reality of this world. So, like, all the rooms in your house will eventually be screened, and then they'll be able to really have like a virtual digital world that is a duplicate of this one. So, be careful. I'm not saying be afraid and be in survival mode and be paranoid and have these negative energies. I'm just saying be aware and don't be so concerned with like certain things that stress you out. You just need to be intelligent, be aware, and move accordingly. Yes, I'm still signing contracts. I'm using this phone. When it needs an update, I have to like agree to the terms, otherwise I can't use my phone. I'm not saying that I'm over here like Holy Mary, not using any devices or anything like that. But it's just about being able to play this game in a smarter way, because the smartest people that actually run a lot of this stuff, like religion and politics, know certain things. So when you become aware of those certain things, you can move more freely, more better, more smarter, right? Because there's a game being played here in America, and not just in America. It's worldwide. But another thing I wanted to address, right? And I think I'm just gonna go and do a different live because it's a little bit of a different topic, but it has to do with the Iranian wars and how you should not be afraid of them throwing a drone strike. It just doesn't make sense. I'll just say it in my next video. Bye.